Hello YouTube, I'm back again with another video. I'm just going to be a brief rant. I'm going to be talking about Instagram and how your followers decide to unfollow you. It is important that I tell you because how about I let you guys know that it may not entirely have to do with your content that you post, because depending how long you've been on that site and how well you've tried to progress and you developed yourself as a content creator, and you notice you've been getting results, especially with the certain reach you've been gaining. And I should tell you that it doesn't entirely have to do with the shadow ban, and I've learned this on my own terms. I just did some thorough research. I did a lot of thorough analysis, and you'll notice that it's not entirely your fault. It's your followers, if anything, because let me explain why they decide to unfollow you after following you. The reason why they do this in the first place, if anything, yeah, it's not always the case, but sometimes they may realize that your content may not be as interesting as it is, but you'll notice with the ratios with these users on Instagram is that they're actually doing it to improve their following and their followers. So they want to gain more followers. They want to have a smaller following, because the reason behind that is that from what's been trending is that people will you'll notice the patterns. People will use this strategy in order to encourage more people to follow them, and then they have a smaller following. They'll have more followers, a smaller following, but they're doing it to improve their chances of, I don't know what the entire purpose is. Maybe they're trying to improve they're trying to get attention on their Instagram along with their other content, whether outside of Instagram. It could be YouTube, TikTok, whatever. Or it could be that they're trying to make they're trying to make a business out of it and trying to make as much profit as possible. So in order to establish that, they have to gain a bigger following. You have to at least have 1,000 followers, and you have to be able to create certain amount of posts. You have to be able to make, whether it's a photo, whether it's a video, to encourage their entourage, to encourage their audience to be impressed. And it is unfortunate because, I do believe, I thought for a minute, some people may be confused thinking that they are shadow banned, but then later you find out it's just people being completely selfish, only thinking about themselves. This is the one thing I'm trying to I'm also gonna give my thoughts too. One thing I understand about people who follow you, who decide to unfollow you, is why even follow that person in the first place? Why even? Again, because eventually, I'm sure if that person thinks ahead, the person that was being unfollowed, eventually they'll immediately notice that that person has unfollowed them. One of their followers hasn't followed them, and then they'll take this opportunity to unfollow you, and then they're gonna go off. Okay, and then there are people who will definitely criticize you for having to go through the trouble of following them and unfollowing them, because for them, yeah, it may seem like a point, but what sucks that encourages this toxic behavior is that people who do this will encourage other people to do it as well. And it's very irritating because, no matter how hard you try to improve yourself, no matter how hard you try to put effort into your content, you try to get people to notice you, odds are you're most likely going to lose more followers than gain more followers, because it's hard to come back after. And I understand, for people, and unfortunately, it would not. There are people who possibly pay for the followers. It would not surprise me. That will lead to a shadow ban for sure. But in the case of Instagram, doesn't know the problem with Instagram is they're very insecure. They prefer not to give you any details or updates as to what could be happening to your account. And now people have chance of hacking into your account and framing you. So there's a lot of corruption going on in Instagram, where I would rather, where it seems like I would rather prefer to use TikTok or YouTube, because yeah, TikTok has some idiots on that site along with their community, but at least you don't have to worry. I never had an issue where TikTok, where you have or compared to TikTok and YouTube, you'll notice the difference with TikTok and YouTube, between Instagram. You'll notice the difference between Instagram and YouTube and TikTok is that, at least with TikTok, you'll notice that you barely even lose followers. There are times where you lose followers, but it barely often happens, as well as YouTube. But with Instagram, the bigger your followings, all of a sudden you lose like a portion, a huge chunk, a huge portion of your following, and you don't have as many followers like you used to. You'll notice that because like at the same time, Instagram is also taking into the consideration of checking other people's accounts to make sure they aren't trying to spam, that they aren't bots. And I do agree with that. I do condone those accounts being removed, especially people working with Bitcoin. Those are the most annoying, lousy people on the platform, to be real. If I were to tell you guys, people that use bots in order to like set up dating apps, saying all kind of explicit stuff. But again, I feel like Instagram definitely needs to go through a lot of improvements. There's definitely a lot of flaws with this site that does not compare to YouTube and TikTok. Like, not every site's meant to be perfect. TikTok and YouTube has their own issues, but at least they're willing to try to satisfy their users. They're trying to satisfy like the people's needs. They're trying to do the best they can to bring up certain more new updates along with it, to show that, to make people make people, they want to hear from the people, they want to understand from people what they need to do in order to prove, in order to grow as a website, and in order to grow as a platform. But Instagram fails to do that because they have no intentions of like helping their community. They have no intentions of actually trying to shed anything into light and bringing the good news and the bad news. But they would rather bear to keep any type of like updates whatsoever. They're not even willing to be honest with you. They don't want to say anything. They rather stay in the dark and keep silent. They stay silent unless the only way you can approach them, unless you work with Instagram. But again, like, even if you notice that you're having this issue, you have people unfollowing you, my advice is just to keep moving forward. I'll just say this, because it's bound to happen. You can't expect people to remain there forever. You can't expect people to accept your content, because some people do. Some people are just very picky. Let's be real. The only reason they're even willing to watch your content, they're trying to impress you. Actually, it's not because they're impressed with like what you're doing. They're trying to impress you so that you can get on their good side, so they can persuade you that they're really a fan of yours. But because fake fans do exist. And what happens is that person decides to unfollow you after, without a reminder, without telling you, oh, I've decided to unfollow you. Or they don't even, you know what they can do? They can literally do is just remove you as a follower. But it very rarely does. It rarely does happen. People refuse not to remove you as a follower. They will just simply unfollow you. That's it. Because the moment you remove someone as a follower, you're not following them, and they're not following you. But again, people have these really fragile egos that I understand that they claim, oh, it's my account, I can do whatever. I even had that recently too. But I immediately called that person out and say, don't lie, don't tell me you're just doing it because you're trying to like, is it because you're trying to persuade me in saying that you just found my content boring afterwards. It's literally for their content. It's literally for their own intentions. That's it. Like, for their own ambitions, because they realize that, I can't really say it's an ambition, but they realize that their content isn't doing so well. So considering the miserable life that they're living is that, and consider how fragile their egos are, they decide to say that, oh, they have a right. Yeah, they have a right, but it's like, but be honest, like, at the same time, obviously they don't want to admit it because it makes them look more guilty, and it feels embarrassing to admit your fault, because they don't want to admit that they're at fault for unfollowing because you feel betrayed. But like, be real. If you don't like somebody's content, don't follow them in the first place. That's very simple. But again, it may not be. It may the person's argument may be that, oh, it's their account, they can do whatever. But it's mean like you contradict yourself when you say that. When you say you can do whatever you want because it's your account, doesn't mean you can go ahead and spam people and make yourself seem like relevant, as in you're gonna go ahead and be a toxic idiot, all that kind of bullshit. But again, like, it's also depending how, when you decide to run your Instagram, your account the way you do, like I was talking about, how you'd say, well, you can just do whatever you want. Just to let you know that guarantees most likely you're gonna that's how you lose your following. That's when people say they're not gonna follow you anymore because you're very arrogant and full of yourself. And people can assume that about me, but that's just an assumption. Clear, because it's not clear whether I am that person online or in real life. My whole purpose is to share my opinion and to share some advice, and you guys can realize that you can, like, whether you, no matter how hard you try to improve yourself, or how hard you put yourself up to date and consistent you are on doing content and trying to impress your audience, this will happen regardless. People will look for opportunities, they will look for excuses to be rid of you, to not even want anything to do with you. They don't want to collaborate, and then eventually leads to either them blocking you or most likely unfollowing you. Because and then people have these fragile egos that they can't keep, like, that they can't get rid of. They have a hold of that fragile ego to the point where they just continue on, and you'll notice it just becomes unsettling. You guys, you know what? Might as well not argue. Just talk to, try to just give them, if you really want to talk to them, just send like two or three messages and then end it, because the more you argue with them, and then the more irrelevant it becomes, and it just becomes really pointless now, to the point that, like, it's just a stupid argument now. Like, because I don't try to convince people to follow me. I just simply say, I'm doing this to impress and doing this from based on my interest, to impress those who have the same common interests as I do. And if you do, then I'll be happy to join you, as long as you follow me, and we'll be able to share our interests together, and then be able to improve and better ourselves. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to check for more upcoming content later in the future. Be sure to check your notifications, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.